Okay, three main challenges that cause failure. So remember when I mentioned earlier that 90% of new agents fail in the first 12 months? Well, I wasn't just doing this for shock value. It is the standard. There's a ton of failure in this business, and you need to be absolutely concerned. Right now in the live section, there's 110, 100-ish of you in there. If there's 110 of you, 99 of you are going to fail. That's huge. You can't play that off like that doesn't apply. I've been accused of being kind of like a Debbie Downer about this stuff, but I am of the complete persuasion that you need to know the risks involved with this business and the failure rates and to plan accordingly as opposed to just, I hope it'll turn out. You need to have an action plan to not be a statistic. But the good news is that there are ways and things to avoid, and I think we're going to talk about some of them. Hey, if you're looking to sell life insurance on a part-time or full-time basis, whether or not you're new to the business or experienced, then check out my agency, the DIG Agency. We specialize in working with agents that want to sell life insurance remotely from the comfort of their home. You can go to daviddefour.com or click the link below to learn more. I'm going to mention some other ones here too that I think are important. So a couple that I think are the three main charges that cause, or main challenges, chargebacks. So this is a problem in the business if you sell one product or if you come in and you're a hardcore closer. Okay, you need to push for the sale. There's a right way to push that's in the best interest of the client. There's a wrong way to push, which is the best interest of you. We train the difference there. It's subtle, but it's very important to understand it. Chargebacks will kill you and wipe you out of the business. They cannot be prevented in its entirety, but by a careful selection of what products you sell and certainly how you sell, you can minimize those, okay? The other thing that kills agents is they just, again, they're ignorant of chargebacks. I mean, it's shocking, or they pretend it's not going to happen to them. You know, ostrich, head in the sand thing. You're going to have people who cancel on you. You're going to have to pay back some of your commissions. And the way out of a commission issue is to make sure you're consistently producing every week. So where chargebacks are the most impactful is an agent comes in, they sell a bunch of business, take some time off and spend their money, and then they realize a bunch of it lapses, and they're like, oh, crap, I didn't know this was going to happen. And then they start getting psychologically damaged and having trauma, and then start to make mistakes, purchase worse leads, give themselves excuses, whereas the real problem was they weren't putting in the consistency, and they weren't honest with themselves that chargebacks were going to happen, and they didn't plan accordingly. Okay, that's why I'm saying this. Sell the right way, but don't blow all your money either. Like, save a lot of it. And chargebacks come in waves. Sometimes you won't have some for a while. Sometimes you have a bunch. What are chargeback percentages? I would say roughly in the remote business, 1 out of 4 are going to lapse in the first year. And then guaranteed issue business, more about that eventually. Maybe 1 out of 3 are going to lapse. A little bit worse for guaranteed issue in my experience. Rejection. That is a big killer of this business. People tend to be paper tigers talking to you over the phone. The things that they say, most of them don't have the balls to say it to you in person. This is the truth, okay? And on top of that, they'll disrespect you. They don't know who you are, so it's safer to be a jerk. They'll hang up on you, curse, say the nastiest things. Luckily, that's the worst it can be. But we're all human beings. I'm like you. I mean, I have emotions. You know, I'm sensitive. And, you know, getting slapped around after a while can do some trauma. So your ability to not take this personally and to reflect on the things you can and cannot control, you can't control them being an asshole, frankly. But what you can control is calling the next one, knowing that how they're going to react has no bearing to what happened previously except how you handled yourself. And just grin and bear it. To be able to compartmentalize what you cannot control outside of what you can control, which is your activity. It's easier said than done. But the rejection side of thing, it's going to happen. The paradox of this business is that the best agents who make the most sales have way more rejection experience than the worst agents that quit the business because they just couldn't handle it. Okay. So get used to it. It happens. Don't take it personally. How can they reject you? They don't know who you are. They're rejecting your offer, not you. Boredom and complacency. This is kind of funny. This is a boring, remember I said final expense is boring? It is. You rinse and repeat every single day. And a lot of people who start to have success, they start to, I get this sense, as they start to look at other opportunities that have sex appeal. I mean, crypto, real estate. side hustles. There's like a level of, dopamine rush that comes from doing some of these things, right? And a lot of the times that distraction reduces performance selling. And then they end up flopping out because they've deviated from their main work. I'm not saying you can't do other things. I'm saying be very careful, especially in the beginning, the first year or two, trying to do other things or be everybody to everything to everybody. When distraction markedly reduces performance outcomes for the vast majority of humanity. Okay. Don't wander, focus, and dial in. Give yourself a couple of years. If you're having success, especially, stay away from the other things. You find this problem in life is that as you start to have success, it's you have to start saying no to things. In the beginning, I think as a young man, if you're out there in your 20s, say yes to an opportunity that looks good to you. Get some experience. Go all in. You have a very little to lose. But as you progress through life, and certainly as you progress in success, there are going to be all sorts of distractions that can destroy your career. It can destroy your income earning opportunity. Professionally and personally, you got to say no to these things. Okay. So, and that's kind of the dual-edged sword of being an entrepreneurial type of personality, which most of you are who are attracted to this. We all want to say yes. I say yes to things, but I've had to say no to things that I think are really good opportunities. But knowing like I got a good thing going over here, I got to focus my effort here. Does that make sense? It's very, very important. Other things that cause failure. I may mention this, so I don't want to blow it too early. So I'll briefly mention it, and then if you guys want me to cycle back and talk about it. Joining the wrong agency. Huge. Lots of NLM Kool-Aid drinking in this business. Probably we'll talk about it later. Crappy leads. You got people out there saying all leads are the same. They're not. There is a definite difference between leads. Working bad leads in an otherwise good business is a great way to fail. And then what else? Kind of back to the agency thing. Just a misalignment of goals. Again, I think we're going to talk more about that momentarily.